Afternoon, people. Just a quick message to any British followers I have out there who may not be aware of all this shit that's going on, as usual, again in Belfast and Derry, in your name. So, because your media is incompetent, inept, and just broken, doesn't do its job. So, the state media is going to report, as usual, on the crimes in Ireland. And many years ago, that would have worked for them, but now with social media, you've got videos out there. I've always said if the Troubles took place today, it would be a very different story. So in a nutshell, over the last 3 nights in loyalist estates, so-called British estates in Ireland, in Belfast and Derry, have erupted in a rioting over a few different subjects, but the main point of it would be the so-called Irish Sea border. Northern Ireland voted to remain in the EU. These loyalist estates are the ones who voted for Brexit. These are the ones who were brainwashed by the DUP. In fact, I'm not here to judge anyone. You voted for Brexit, very good. In fact, from an Irish Republican standpoint, Brexit's the best gift you've ever given us, so thank you. But these people were told to vote for Brexit, told by their leaders, the DUP, who you had a little glimpse of in 2017, didn't you? The Theresa May's government, but we put up with them for a very long time, and they're a bunch of fucking dinosaurs. Not one of them is qualified to be a politician, then again, are any politicians, but they're just Neanderthals who are playing politics because of the role in this and the state that's been set up here. They just found themselves in that role. So nobody here respects Arlene Foster as a First Minister. The DUP spendless leadership is what's led to this rioting. The point is, because it's not being reported in the British press, I'm now seeing so-called Remainers on Twitter or whatnot, who in the weird topsy-turvy world we're living in, we now have a situation where British Remainers are siding with hardcore, you would call, I won't call them this, but you would call them this, far right loyalists. These are people who subscribe to English nationalism, which again I'm not going to pass comment on either way. That's another thing. It's been a great gift, but I know for a fact that Remainers aren't exactly fans of English nationalism. Your values don't really align with the values of loyalism. But today, in 2021, we have these same people siding with them because you're naively thinking, because the British media are either not reporting on it or giving you half a story, you're naively thinking that this is all about Brexit and that this is, people rising up in support of the EU. It's not that at all. Or, oh, look what the complications of Brexit have done to Ireland. I'm sorry, any complications in Ireland are done by being in the United Kingdom, by being in the Union, not the European Union, the Union. That's where the complications in Ireland come from. 100 years next month, the statelet has been made, a temporary statelet that still exists, and it serves nobody. It serves nobody. It doesn't even serve the people who have set up to serve. It's just redundant. Bennett, border poll now. We had a census just last month that failed to even pop the question, do you fancy a border poll in the next few years? That would have been a great way to figure it out, wouldn't it? Because as the GFA, as the Good Friday Agreement, shows, a referendum on unity in Ireland can only be called once your Secretary of State, a British Secretary of State, deems that there would be enough support in favour of it. So I don't know in what world that is ever meant to happen, because in what world is a likely Conservative Secretary of State ever going to grant the border poll? Look at how they're treating Scotland. How are they ever going to grant a referendum to a country basically in the knowledge, and the certain knowledge that, that country's going to vote yes and break up the union, they're going to leave our union? How in what world would a Tory or any British MP ever want to do that? They're not. So it's what's written in the GFA is fucking stupid anyway, but that's where we're at. The point is, no one knows what's going on here because it's not reported. So don't be thinking for 1 second that these people are fighting because, oh, look what Brexit's done. It's not to do with that. It's because of the shitstorm that being in the fucking union with the UK, that serves none of us. We are a drain on your tax resources. Fact. So much of your money goes to funding this shithole, this faux statelet. If you want to take back control from Brussels, or take back control in general, cut Northern Ireland. The reason why I'm not critical about Brexit, and I'm not critical about those who voted for Brexit, and most Irish Republicans are, the reason why I'm not is because it would be fucking hypocritical for me to, deny them the very thing that I want for Ireland. So if the likes of Nigel Farage want to go around using rhetoric like take back our sovereignty, take back control from Brussels, every nation is entitled to their sovereignty. So by all means, Britain should have sovereignty and should have destiny over its own affairs, but so should Ireland. And what the fuck's the point in having a referendum if someone thinks there's a clear majority in the lead of one way or another? What's the point in having a referendum then? It's just stupid. It's stupid. It's designed to set up to fail. Nobody in the UK really classes here as British. and a majority of people here do not class themselves as British. That will be shown in the results of the census one way or another, but a very good way of doing it would have just been to cut to the chase and ask the question about a border poll. And now would be a great time to do it, because you had a census falling on the same year as the centenary of this state. If that wasn't a great opportunity to ask this question, no man was, but whatever. Back to the Reds, so the media should report on it, but with context, because they're not reporting on it enough, and you're getting half a story. These are not people who are dying to stay in the EU. These are not people who understand, even I'm not patronising them, but these are not people who understand the complexities of politics anyway. They have no nuance of opinion. If we like one colour, they like the other. It's the tribalism has not really stopped, to be honest with you, despite the way it's made out to be. The fact of the matter is, if 3 days of rioting had been going on in any other capital city of the UK, you would have actual BBC, ITV reporters on the ground here wanting to find out what's going on, and real investigative journalism. You wouldn't have the likes of Belfast Live, which is essentially a fucking student-run organisation, and The Guardian, maybe. That's who's reporting on it. Half reporting on it. If look at Bristol the other week, Bristol isn't even a capital city, but that was a full fucking, and rightly so, we should know about this shit, but kill the bill. Pure, that got worldwide coverage, and you've got people here fueled by a mainstream political party in this state, which is already on the brink. It always has been. People think that everything's just rainbow and butterflies here since the peace agreement. It's not been. It always has been on a fucking knife edge. To be honest with you, I may actually make more videos on this. Media don't do their job, so it's up to more people actually, like myself and others, to just fucking speak out for them, and actually let people know. This was a very impromptu video. I'm capable of doing better. I will in the future, but this was more of an event because I'm pretty pissed off actually. It's sad. It's sad living in a very dreary, hopeless place, which is actually quite fitting. Rihanna video with a music video about that song here. Westminster act like they owe us something whenever it suits them. We don't want them. We don't care. Your government hasn't let us down. The only way Britain has let us down is by still fucking occupying us 100 years later, man. Just get the fuck out of the picture. It's as simple as that. I'm seeing people, who mean well, and they're saying things like, oh, our government have let Ireland down. Yeah, you haven't. You don't owe us anything, despite the position that the British government have appointed themselves. You don't owe us anything. We don't look to Britain as for fucking guidance and leadership. We don't. We want I don't want to sound like a fucking redneck, but we want our country back together. It's unity. That's all Ireland wants. So, Britain, we don't fucking feel abandoned. We don't care about the so-called Irish Sea border. Put whatever borders you want up. And you have, it's funny how this is the world we live in today. It's 2021, baby, but you got loyalists, British loyalists, who are now protesting against borders in Ireland, against British borders in Ireland. Who would have thought you'd live to see the day? Interesting times. We're a very connected world these days, so there's no reason why people literally across the water from us shouldn't know who across the water from us. I know who for all intents and purposes right now. We are in the same union. There's no reason why you shouldn't know what's going on in this country in your name, whenever we're also informed what's going on around the rest of the world. Don't let the media censor shit. Don't let them give you half a message. We are all aware of how manipulative the media is, but they can also manipulate a story by not reporting on the story. Silence is violence. If Northern Ireland's place in Britain is so sacred and is so relevant and is so fucking important, then why is it whenever shit kicks off here? Why is it whenever a young black Catholic boy goes missing, winds up, found naked and dead under suspicious circumstances? Why is it whenever that's a whole big case here that's been going on since last June? Why is it that has barely reached the fucking shores of the UK? That story, that is, we know all about whenever something goes on there. Because why is that? Because we don't. And it's not like me going, give us attention. At the end of the day, cut us off, and you won't fucking have to report about us. We don't have to. But stop sweeping shit that goes on here. Sometimes as a result of fucking British occupation, stop sweeping it under the rug as if it doesn't matter, and then being like, Northern Ireland's flourishing, Northern Ireland's great. No, we're not. We're fucking feeling, we're suffering, and we need cut loose. We need cut loose. Because Arnie Foster, I'll just put this out there before the end of this video. Arnie Foster, the first minister of this fucking place, the leader of the DUP, who, again, the leader of a party who sat in Westminster, and still sits in Westminster, she, only a matter of months ago, met with terror leaders of prescribed organisations in Ireland, met with them to discuss their concerns about Brexit. Barely reported on. Jeremy Corbyn, meanwhile, general election of 2017-19, how many times was it peddled about in the media in Britain? Oh, he once met with Gerry Adams in the 1980s. Yeah, there was to talk about peace, you fucking parasites. Arlene Foster met with terrorists in 2021 to discuss their concerns about Brexit. Fuck their concerns about Brexit. That should disgust you. These are British terrorists who fight in your name, kill in your name, still to this day, commit crimes in Britain's name, and you have a First Minister of one of the 4 nations of the UK discussing their concerns with them. Get the fuck out of town. Not reported on, just the way these rats aren't reported on. It's all a whitewash. Please wake up to it. Please. If you want to laugh, actually, go back and watch some of the... go on YouTube and watch some of the clips of the DUP in Westminster. Just look at how inept and nervous and unprepared the likes of Sammy Wilson and Nigel Dodds were in Westminster. Compared to your own politicians, who I know are all dickheads as well, but go and look at them. They are a fish out of water. They don't know what they're doing, and we have them running this tiny little statelet in Ireland, a tiny piece of land. It doesn't even make logical sense for this to be a country. Well, it's not. It's a fucking state. But it doesn't make any sense. No right-thinking person even fucking considers it a country. It's Ireland. Where there needs to be a push towards fucking unity, and there needs to be a push in your media to report on what goes on here, because I guarantee if more Britons and more people from Britain knew the shit that's done in this country in their name, they'd be furious about it equally. Because you're not the bad people that the loyalists in this shithole try and represent you as. That's a fact. So now effectively, these loyalists who for decades and decades and decades have been fighting with Irish Republicans are now finding themselves effectively fighting the British government. They're fighting their own best friend. They're fighting the very entity that once supported them and the DUP. Meanwhile, the rest of us are just looking on, kind of going, what the fuck? So yeah, that's what's going. That's what's happening in the fucking wild west. Yeah, thanks for watching up to this point. If you have, like, follow, share, whatever, just get the word out there, because more people do need to be aware of what's going on just literally across the water. Take it easy. See you later.